Okay, welcome everybody to today's Be the Spark movement meeting. It is January 18th, 2025. And today's meeting, we're just going to talk about intention setting. Um, a few years ago, I think it was 2020, I resolved to no longer have resolutions but to set intentions. Resolutions seem more harsh and um, these things that you have to tick off and just really be strict with yourself about, where intention setting allows you to be in a more state of ease and just go with the flow and how things are supposed to work out instead of forcing things is how I feel about it. So I would love to hear y'all's thoughts on intention setting.
Well, Grand Rising, everyone. For me, on a daily basis, it's four letters to four different words that I
Uh-huh.
use, which is EIEF. Okay, the first E is for empathy.
Hmm.
The second letter I is for intention. The third letter E is for energy,
Hmm.
and the last letter S is for setting. Right. And when I think about it in intention setting, first I think about empathy and for the ability to understand someone else's
Hmm.
opinion or emotion in any situation. So after that, I set my intentions to be very mindful of how I speak or make a statement to someone, knowing that I have empathy and I set my intentions, I will not have to be apologetic about anything throughout the day. And I put that energy into what I set my intentions for today is to be compassionate, mindful, and full of positivity. And the last letter S, by setting that at the top of the morning, it leaves no room for me to have to apologize for offending someone by phrasing something wrong and being understanding that my intentions is pure because what I want for myself, I want for everyone else.
I love that. I love that. Anybody else want to share? Terry.
I don't even remember when I stopped doing resolutions, and I'm thinking like 20 years ago, but it was like screw that. I that sounds like bullshit and I didn't want to do it. But I started writing like at the end of the year. I'd sit down the last couple of days of the year and write down things that I wanted to let go of, and then the things I wanted to bring in. It's and it was more goals rather than intentions or things I wanted to strive toward. And somewhere around the last 10 years after I started working in life coaching, then I got the idea of the intentions and started working toward what I do now. And which eventually the life coaching went out in its spiritual mentorship and other stuff that I work on. But my turn of intentions has been more um shall I say less tangible than more soul oriented, like how I want to feel, what I want to bring in, what kind of energies I want to bring in this year, or what energies I want to let go of rather than things. And the only goal I really have, or the only big intention tangible, is I want this book out into the world this year. And actually, that was my intention last year. It didn't happen, but it looks like it's going to happen this time. But everything else is more, I want to be more spiritually connected. I want to bring in this kind of energy, that kind of energy. And that's where I'm going with that now. It's funny how over the years, the more I evolve toward different ways of thinking, the more I'm spiritual thinking than and soul oriented than anything I could put my finger on or be tangible or put on a list.
I like that idea too. And that feels more intentional, right? I mean, it's not like I'm going to set like when you set a resolution to lose weight, right? Like that's going to always be my challenge.
It's either yes or no.
Right.
Yeah.
Where something spiritual or emotional feels more easeful to just ebb and flow in and out of. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And even I did this and learned this in one coaching program I was in, that I learned from, is setting the intentions of what you want to gain from any situation. So my husband and I started, I guess, about 7 or 8 years ago, when we go on a vacation and we're in the car and we're either driving to the airport or we're driving to where we're going. The first 15 minutes, we're saying what's my intention, what's his intention, and what's our intention for this trip. And we want to bring in what we want to experience. And I started doing those with little things in my life too. And it's really cool when you start just a little thing, like I'm teaching a class and I want to set the intention for what I want to teach, and then bring the students in and have them set their intention. Those kind of things are really powerful when we start seeing it that way.
I really like that. Now you got my wheels spinning. This is the beauty of this group, right? Like we all bring this little knowledge and experience, and we can help each other to deepen our own spirit and our own intention or whatever it is that we're working toward.
Yeah. And for me, intention, the more, I've never really done resolutions. I never saw the beauty of that at all. I never did that. Because I always thought saying that you were less than, and now you have to, I don't know, it just felt like you was always trying to prove yourself, prove myself. So I didn't like that. But the intentional part of it, I do like. I like that because you just, when you have intentions, then at least for me, I'm never disappointed. Regardless if I finish them or not, the intention is still there. And I just go forward with it. Some people call it stubbornness. I just call it, I'm intention minded and I want to get this done. I'm not going to beat up on myself if I don't get it done, but I'm going to take these small steps to get whatever it is done. So, and I think it does become more spiritual. It really does. For me, it's become more spiritual. I don't think of it as a tangible thing that I'm going to gain from it. It's going to be more of a spiritual uplift that I'm going to bring from it, regardless of what it is, whether it's writing or reading or traveling or whatever. I always, when I do those things, I reflect back from a spiritual plane. And I'm not religious at all. So this is coming from somewhere that's kind of foreign to me, but I always end up going back to this. How did it affect me spiritually, emotionally? I come back to that. I don't know if it's an age thing or you just seeing the world differently. I'm not sure, but the intentional thing always comes back to being a spiritual thing, not religious thing, but spiritual thing for me. So that's where I am.
I also
Yeah.
like that you included grace for yourself in that. Like if I don't get it done in this period of time, it's okay because the intention is still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that setting an intention opposed to a resolution or goal is more valuable
Hmm.
than by saying your intention is more valuable to me than setting a goal. Because when I set my intention, I exert that energy and that focus towards what my intention is. You know? And to see the desired outcome, I exert just that much energy into what I set my intention for, you know, because I want that bad, right? Um, I had to really find a way with all the changes that has been taking place in my life, with public speaking, um, being voice for people that could not use their voice, in situations that have been traumatizing. I found that setting my intention and grounding at the start of the day had to be a priority. So, no, and so wouldn't have room for anxiety. I would be walking in the primary purpose of what my intent for that day, you know. So that's how it's been working for me. And boy, it really has been helpful because I tell you, this has been a journey, a very spiritual journey, because so much healing has been taking place in my life. And oh my God, it's just I'm smiling because I've learned to smile in the midst of the storm, you know.
Aaron,
And
you've come, I mean, I have seen you do so much work over the past year and a half. It's been absolutely phenomenal.
having the gratitude with actually seeing the desired outcome and knowing that it's in me, all the elements to get things accomplished is in me. The fire, the air, you know, I use the earth, I use the water, you know, and it really gets me through. It really grounds me and have me help me, not have me, help me to walk in my primary purpose of being here on this earth.
It's a beautiful thing. Absolutely. Victoria, do you have something you'd like to add? Uh, Terry said, I like the idea of setting an intention for each day. Yeah, me
Mhm.
too. I don't do that often enough. It needs to be a better practice.
Yeah, I have a few things. I think you and I are kind of on the same page because I think a few years ago we were in a yoga retreat and they talked about setting an intention word for the year.
Mhm.
And, each year now I try to do that and what things that I can do to keep that or bring that intention word more into my life. So like last year it was abundance.
Mm-hmm.
This year it's inspired action.
Ooh.
So, I've tried to say, okay, well, if this is my intention word or words for this year, what am I going to do? Or what kind of changes or what kind of things can I put out into the world, right? Through my self love and my energy that I'm projecting out. So that's kind of how I look at it currently. I agree that resolutions don't really work. So I was glad to get rid of those.
They say actually by the third Friday of the year, I think, which is yesterday, maybe, that people have given up on their resolutions.
Mm.
But I really like the fact that, an intention is not something that you have to tick off, you know. You have to like, today I worked out, today I worked out, today, but you can
Mhm.
be like, my intention was to move my body today, right?
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
went on a walk. And yesterday I did 5 sit-ups or whatever, and it doesn't feel so harsh and there's an ease in it. And I
Yeah.
really like how you guys have brought the spiritual aspect to it.
And you know what? And resolutions to me sound kind of grandiose. It sounds like you're trying to convince the world of what you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, at least for me, but intentions, I don't really care what the world thinks. But the resolution is like, look, this is what I'm going to do. You're proving yourself to somebody. With intentions, at least as far as I'm concerned, these are private individual intentions that I plan on doing, and the world will see the outcome, but I don't have to be in front of the world telling them what I'm doing, And I think intentions are different. Resolutions is like you're proving yourself, okay, I'm going to lose this weight, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to go up this mountain. It's like you prove, it's like you're on a microphone telling the world what you're going to do. Whereas intention is a private thing, and you just do it, and the world sees, oh, you did that, yeah, I did that. I didn't have to make a grand occasion about it. I just did it. So I think it's a little bit different from that perspective too.
Oh, I love that too, Jeffrey. I think you're right.
I like that, Jeffrey. It sounds like it makes me remember that it's like a resolution is like a peer pressure thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Because everybody's like, well, I mean, nobody ever really goes, hey, working on that resolution. Because we all know that we're going to fail at it, right? Like, what's the point? We're all going to fail at it. But you're right, because you're like, my resolution is, you have to stand up in front of the class and make this grandiose gesture,
Mhm.
um, or commitment, where intention is more like a state of being.
Yeah.
It can
Yeah.
be something that you work on all year.
Mhm.
I
Mm-hmm.
want to get better at this, or if it's like a concept of something you want to grow at, or a
Mm-hmm.
spiritual connection, you want to get better at this, or you want to improve in this area of your life, and it's not a yes or no thing.
You
That's
Right.
true.
know, when I think about intentions, I think about the times when I was lacking self confidence,
Mm-hmm.
when I was lacking self love, and how I learned to build that within myself is set my intentions to give myself a positive affirmation and really believe, you know. And when I started feeling doubt, I would give myself another affirmation. And until it just came natural, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
knowing that what I was speaking was either helpful to someone else because it first helped me, I said it with confidence and became more confident in what I had to share with others. It's like when, prime example, because there's some faces here that I've never met, and that's because I've been not on the meeting like I used to be because of things that's changing in my life. And the biggest thing that has been changing, Carrie, you definitely explained it to me the first time on this meeting, is my healing process,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
of trauma, and my determination into putting the whole puzzle together. That way, when I have wholeness and total healing, I don't have to worry about walking across a piece that is still broken
Mm-hmm.
or missing in the puzzle. So it's like taking the pieces. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. Life to me, right now, is you sit and you put all these pieces. sit and I put all of these pieces of the things that I want out of life, the things that I was handed in life, and I just scatter them around and I start putting back in its rightful place. And for the first time in my life, I finally feel like I'm becoming whole.
I love that.
I'm becoming whole again. It's still work in process and progress to go, but I'm becoming whole again. Spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally. I'm becoming whole.
Mm.
And it's one of the best feelings at a time like this, where
Absolutely.
this is a rough world now. It's hard to find unity, love, like minded people,
Mm,
you know.
Yeah.
And when you start to grow and heal, you will still have those faces that's looking at you like you're not supposed to. But that does not stop you because your intentions is to fix yourself. Because
right.
you can't be fixed by a doctor. You can't be fixed by nobody but yourself. It
Absolutely.
takes you to do the work of greatness to get the great transformation and the greatest version of yourself. And for me, it's to fix me to be of servant to someone else who don't know how to fix it or who don't know where to begin.
Right. That's why I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
That's why
Yeah.
I'm here. Put myself back together, leave the pieces that don't fit on the
Yeah.
ground.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And then the other pieces, you put them back at where they're supposed to be.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
Karen, when you were talking and based on what Victoria said, I'm envisioning the overall word, right, of your intention of the year. And then as you set your daily intentions, have it support that overall word or words that you've chosen for the year, just as one way
It
of doing things.
it it has my word of the year that I had set my intention
Hmm.
have been accomplished on a daily basis.
One breath at a time.
To, to the point where I had to set another word because I'm seeing results, because I'm putting the energy and the focus into what put in my mind to do for myself. And I put a time in
Absolutely.
because this is my intention for today. And if I accomplish this today, I don't have to work on this tomorrow. Because at some point, when we set an intention, we become the power master at mastering that and do not have to repeat it.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Sometimes with intentions too, for other, I'll give you an example. My nephew wrote me something. Yeah, I hadn't heard from a nephew in a while. He's been going through some stuff. And my intentions with him, even though he was going through some troubled times, well, no, I didn't have a resolution for him. I didn't want to fix him. But my intention was for him to get to the point where he thought he was fixable and that
Mhm.
he could fix himself. And so all this time has gone by, and that was always my intention with him without me even realizing. I didn't want to change him. I didn't want to force him to be something he didn't want to be. I just wanted to put him in the mindset that, hey, I am fixable. And so he wrote me this letter, this text yesterday that moved me to tears because exactly what I wanted to do, he was telling me after all these years is what I had done. Just put him in the mindset that around me he felt comfortable to be. He said when he came around me and the family, it was like he was leaving his reality for a minute and getting in another, my intention was always, because he came to live with me in California for a little bit. And my intention with him was always to get him to the point to not change him, not make him a resolution for myself, but to put him in the mindset that he could do it himself. So intention works. So it doesn't always work for us. Sometimes it works for other people around us too. Our intentions for them can really be transforming. And I guess that's what this group is really about. It's not just our own personal growth, but how we can transfer that into onto other people. Because I think, my personal opinion, maybe this is a sad way to look at the world, but I think the world is fucked up in a lot of ways. I really do. I don't think there's a bunch of people walking around wanting to change the world. I think there are groups of people around the world, but not a bunch. I don't think they're in the majority. I really don't. So groups like this, to me, are very, 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 very important, wherever they are, whether in Germany or Colombia or Argentina. They are very, very important. That's just my spiel on it, but somebody can jump in and let me know what you feel.
I totally agree. I totally agree. You know, just and I try to stay away from the news
Mm-hmm.
because we still in the first month of the year, and it's been nothing but tragic, you know, sadness, and it's like, how much can you pray, you know, without feeling that your prayers is in vain? It takes action. It takes
Yeah.
action. It takes wisdom to have somebody by your side that don't possess the information you possess, but have the desire to be in comfortable in their own skin like you are,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know, and you share that. How what worked for you may not work for me, but to share and give a person their own outlet to what they use and what they put in their pocket,
Yeah.
you know. And I don't know, Carrie. I'm just so grateful. I'm grateful. My word for today is gratitude.
Mm-hmm. It's always a good word.
Gratitude. I have gratitude for everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because the good shows me my growth. The
Mm-hmm.
bad gives me the strength to get to the good, and the ugly challenges me to work through it and use all of my tools that's in my toolbox to maintain a positive attitude going. So I have gratitude for more.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I always have gratitude for this group because I learned so much from you guys. And like I'm just sitting here absorbing this all, going, I'm gonna come back and listen to it and take notes because y'all have such wisdom to share. And I love that it comes down to also that we're improving ourselves, but we're also being examples to other people as to just the fact that they're powerful in the way that they can promote change within themselves. And with our intention setting, as long as it's positive and loving and caring, it's going to ripple out to the world. It's that energy that is inside of us. It's our aura, and we can expand that um,
Mhm.
to other people. And they're going to be like, that feels good to be around, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want some of that. So they're going to be drawn to you if they are in a place where they are willing to, and if I may steal Victoria's words, an inspired action to improve themselves.
I like the idea, and I've heard this twice already, the community and bringing that light around, or doing whatever we are in a group, whether it's a group like this or a local community, a neighborhood or whatever, it always starts at home, or it starts wherever you are. And I think that even came up, was that you, Carrie, that posted today something about doing your work by your where you are.
Uh-huh.
And what I'm seeing is the helping the old lady cross the street, or paying it forward, giving somebody change at the grocery store if they're 5 cents short, or they're thumbing through their change. Those little things do so much, just, or letting somebody ahead of you in traffic or ahead of you in the line. Those little things add up, and shining that light is where it starts. We can't always start with something huge,
Right.
like a natural disaster, unless we're right in the middle of it. But wherever we are in our own community, we can see what we need, and with our group of friends or our family or whoever we're connecting to.
Yeah,
You never know the impact you're going to make on somebody just
exactly.
by checking on them.
Yep.
Just,
The
hey,
ripple
I'm
effect.
thinking about you. I love you. I miss you, or anything. Just wanted to check on you. And that can be, hi, Kitty. That can be the difference in somebody's, just changing how they feel that day.
You know, you never know when you run into somebody. I'm gonna use this example. You have a family, but then you go out in the community, maybe to do your groceries, and you run into somebody. Sometimes just an encouraging word to somebody in the community, because they don't have nobody, and you will never know they don't have nobody until
Absolutely.
you say something encouraging to them and get a smile. Or if you're fortunate enough to offer somebody something to eat. I practice certain behaviors because those who was here know my story. But not having somebody and you're down and everybody's passing you looking happy and not even giving a word of encouragement makes a person feel hopeless.
Right.
And I like for people to feel and keep hope.
Right.
Because I remember those days that I didn't have and didn't have kind words coming from other people of encouragement. So I make it my business when I do any type of commuting and I run into people. They don't have to need anything. They could be on the line in the grocery store looking very irritated. Or they could be the cashier. And the first thing I'll do is thank them for coming to work, you know. Nothing much. Just thank you for coming to work today. Lift their whole spirit.
It makes a big difference to people.
Definitely. I remember talking. I probably said that. I know Carrie's probably heard this. Maybe Karen has too. But anyway, I remember talking to this homeless person because I thought I was doing these great things, taking things to the homeless, and because I like to do it. So I know how that feels. But anyway, had a conversation with a homeless person, and she said something that was so deep. She said, a lot of people like around Christmas time and Thanksgiving, they bring us stuff and give us stuff and this, but very seldom do they sit down and have a conversation with us. And sometimes, as a human being, you don't want the things. Yeah, you need the things, but you don't want the things. You just want a conversation, a human interaction type moment with another human being. And she says that as far as being a human, as far as being homeless, a lot of times that was ignored. Just I'm here, I got some stuff for you, and they run on, get in their car and drive off. And it's like no human interaction. So sometimes, like Karen said, that interaction, just having a conversation, the
Mhm.
ripple effects of crime. I can't even, I'd be on here for 3 hours talking about the ripple effect that people have had in my life, just by what they said, not what they did, by what they said. I have books today because of what somebody said years ago. I still write and I'm motivated to write because of what that person or a few people said years ago. It's
Right.
still, so that ripple effect is so important, just having that. And so when we talk about intentions, doesn't have to be anything tangible. It can be that spiritual, that human connecting. It's just a conversation with somebody that can transform their lives. So anyway,
Absolutely.
talking too much. Somebody jump in.
No, it's beautiful. I'm thinking of a story I heard on TikTok, or I don't know where I heard it, but it was a gentleman telling his story. And he said that he had made a plan and he parked in the Walmart parking lot because he wanted somebody to hear the gunshot because he didn't want, the vultures to be eating on his body before somebody
Mm,
found him. And he had planned to kill himself.
mm,
And his phone rang. And it was a friend of his he hadn't talked to in forever and said, "Hey, you just crossed my mind and I'm thinking about you." And he said that saved his life.
mm,
Ooh.
There
10
was an
seconds,
angel there at work when there.
right?
mhm, mhm,
Right. So I always encourage people, if somebody crosses your mind, reach out to them because
mhm.
you never know what they're going through and what you can do to be there for them.
Yeah.
And gosh, when I heard that, it is obviously is stuck in my head, right? Because I'm like, now when those people cross my mind, I like almost immediately
Mhm,
try to reach out to them because you never know what that just that I'm thinking about you
mhm,
or that gratitude for somebody being
mhm.
there for you can really change somebody's entire life.
Yeah. Just have a great day. Hey, have a great day. You're looking good today. Take care of yourself. I'll see you. Just something as simple as that. We take it for granted, but words have power, both negative and positive, but words have serious power.
My daughter used to be, and she and I hadn't been anywhere together in a while because she's working crazy hours. But she'd be like, "Hey, I really like your dress," and people would just light up. Melissa that comes on here once in a while, she's like that too. Like she can walk down, we were in Morocco together and she just like spew out all these little compliments to people and people just light up. And it can really change somebody's perspective on what the world is.
Hmm.
This stood out, jumped out at me when this was coming through, but my my parents-in-law are at a nursing home and have been for 6 months now, and we're still adjusting to the new lifestyle. But my husband will talk to the other people that are there, and they're in the common room and everybody's sitting around, and he'll talk to one of the ladies. "Oh, how are you doing today, and how's it going?" And one of the ladies came by, walked by, and he goes, "How are you doing today, lovely lady?" And she just stopped. She was, who's he talking to? But that's just his way. And he talks to, of course, if he talks to a friend, he'll say, "Hey, lovely lady, you look good today." Or one of my friends comes by, "You look good today." But this lady who he sees, we see once a week when we come by and see the parents. We've gotten to know them. And they usually ignore us when we're there because they know we're coming to visit the parents, but we include them in the conversation. And it's gotten to be where they look forward to us and they greet us when we come in the door or they see us there. "Oh, hi, how are you doing?"
Hmm. Yeah.
So many older folks in those nursing homes, etc. They don't people don't come see them. I saw it when my grandmother was in a nursing home and I worked in a nursing home years and years ago. And families just don't come and visit and just to have that connection with somebody is so powerful for them.
Yeah.
Mm.
You
So,
know, I I know the group is always on the third um Saturday of the month, and it just so much been happening. And when I got the text yesterday, I was like, yeah, I can go. But I had to leave group early because I have a massage scheduled at
Nice.
1:00. So I have
Mhm.
to prepare
Well, that's a good
myself.
intention.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's needed. It is definitely needed. Um, but the next group I will be attending, and Carrie, I really need to give you a up. So if you can give me a call, later on this evening. If not, when you get a chance.
Absolutely.
It was good seeing everyone.
Good
Good to
seeing
see
you.
you too,
Good seeing you.
Karen. Thank you.
Okay, bye
All
bye.
right. Take care of yourself.
Enjoy. Wow, what a beautiful conversation. Jimmy said he would be here shortly, but if we're ready to end this conversation, he can just listen to the replay. But Victoria, you've been kind of quiet. Do you have anything to add? I know you got some wisdom rolling around in there.
Mhm.
Well, I don't know about that. Um, no, I mean, I think, I can relate to everything that everybody's been saying. I mean, I just try to put out good energy to the world. And like you said, sometimes having just a small conversation or saying, hi, how you doing to somebody when you're out can make a difference in their life. Um,
Mhm.
I know that when I first moved to the South, and that's been quite a few years ago, I was kind of taken aback by how friendly people were. You'd be
Mm.
in the grocery store in the line, and someone would start like a conversation with you, like they knew you. Hey, how you doing? And that just kind of, and I've kind of tried to take that on as I've been, living here for so many years. So sometimes I notice that too, that I'll start a conversation with somebody in the line, wherever I'm at, you know,
Mhm.
just to see, like, today I had to go to Target to pick up some stuff. And the lady who was checking me out, there wasn't busy because it was like when they first opened. And I had mentioned I had bought a coffee, canned coffee. Um, and I said, could you ring this up first? Because I want to start drinking it while I'm here. So she did. And we were talking. And I said, well, I got this because it has oatmeal in it and because the others have milk in it. And that would cause a flare, which caused an additional conversation. Oh, she said, yeah, I have flares too. So we had this
Mhm.
little offline conversation. And I was telling her about what I do, you know, to help me. Not because I have a lot of information. So the things that I do.
Hmm.
So I was just offering some information to her. I was like, well, maybe you can try this. You know, not everything works for everybody, but I was just sharing that little bit of wisdom from me, but everybody's body's different and how it might take up with something. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you never know what little spark of light that
Hmm.
you share with somebody.
Hmm.
I heard this other thing the other day, and the lady was saying that AirPods have really caused a rift between us, because you used to go walk by somebody and say, hey, how are you? And, all these little like split-second conversations. And now people are like plugged into their phone and they are not paying attention. And we can't
Mhm.
even like scream across the parking lot because people are so plugged up in themselves that we're losing some connection there in those little, like, they're just tiny little conversations that we have. And I was like, I can see that. Because
Mhm.
if you reach out to somebody like, hey, how are you? And they just ignore you, then you're like, all right, you
Mhm.
know? So I
Yeah.
thought that was some pretty good observation there when it comes to like those little things that, technology is so great, but in a lot of ways it's very detrimental to us too. And breaking those connections that
Mhm.
we don't even realize that they're so important.
Yeah, because we are social animals, and technology pulls us away. We think we're being social, but we're really not. We're kind of tuned into whatever we're listening to, music or podcast or whatever.
Mhm.
But we're social animals, and that's healthy for us to be social animals. And when you have something in your ears all the time, or you're always glued in on your phone, I don't know. I think it hurts that. I really
Mm.
think it hurts that. You can see it. People have a hard time having conversations. Yeah, I like to travel. I don't travel as much as I can't afford to travel as much as I'd like to, but I like to, and I watch people. I guess because writers, we just watch people. But you get on a plane and you can sit, I went to Australia. That's a long flight. You can sit by somebody the whole flight and they won't say a word to you. I'm like, wow, it's so different now. I mean, the whole 15 hours on a plane, it seemed like you'd have a conversation besides, excuse me, I have to go to the bathroom. But
Right.
beyond that, you really don't see conversation unless people know each other. Very seldom. They were a little more friendly in like Fiji. Yeah, coming from America to like, wow, there's no conversations between people that are sitting by each other for 15 hours. It's interesting. But everybody's got their iPad or their phone or their music on, but very few conversations. It's interesting.
It's
Interesting and kind of disturbing to me. I'm a 70s kid, so we talked. We talked. So that's kind of where I stand on it.
I'm thinking on that, and I'm thinking that the earbuds where I go, it's usually the under 40 crowd.
Mm.
And so then the people my age or older,
Mhm.
and then I'm no well, I say the kids under 40. Um,
Mhm.
catch myself saying that now, but I notice it's that sometimes. But the conversations still aren't as much
No.
as they were a while back.
Mm.
And and people respond. I notice when I do make a conversation or you say hi or whatever, but the flights, it's been a long time since I've been on a intercontinental flight, but
Mm.
no, there's not as much.
No.
right.
And then when somebody does talk to you, I'm like shocked, like, oh my God, he asked me about the book. Yeah, okay, we could talk. But when it does happen, I'm like shocked. I really am. My daughter always says, you talk to everybody. Yeah, well, I'm I'm a social animal. I speak. My mom taught me, make eye contact, you say hello. That's just the way that's embedded in me. But yeah, it's odd now.
I think people are always waiting on somebody else to start the conversation.
Yeah, maybe that's it too.
A timely thing, and I'm remembering Planes, Trains, and Automobiles with Steve Martin,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
John Candy, and then on the other side of thing, there's the guy that talks your ear off. But I'm looking at that and I'm thinking if I saw that movie now, it would just seem weird to me because that's so unlike our culture now.
Yeah. So true. So
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Wow.
Having traveled in December to so many different places, I keep thinking about the Netherlands and it was just this one experience because we were in the Netherlands just a couple of nights and we went into a little cafe. I mean, it was a tiny little place, but everybody in there was no phones visible.
Mm.
And there was an air of this, I don't know how to describe it, like a friendliness and a joy and connection and just the feeling in the whole place was so much different than places
Mhm.
here in the US.
Yeah. I
I think
went
it's
to,
more of a
oh,
Europe thing.
Yeah.
yeah. I went to well, not this time, but last time I went to Australia, me and my daughter went to this little small cafe or whatever, and they didn't have that many tables, but they had long tables. And so they sat us down, and there was already a group at the table. Well, I'm from America, so I don't see that. So I'm like, aren't we impeding? Aren't we kind of getting in their space? But she said, no, no, just sit here. And so we got all these strangers on this table. One was from Ireland, another one's from wherever they were from, all these different people, but it almost forced you to have and it was so cool because it forced you to have a conversation. Hey, how you doing? Because we're all sitting at this table. I can't imagine being in New York City and sitting in at one long table and everybody being okay with it. I just, I can't imagine that, but it was so cool to see like, wow, I'm not used to this, but this is a really cool thing. It forces you to kind of, you're right there in somebody's face. It's hard to not say anything. So I
Right.
thought that was a cool experience.
Doesn't it feel good though? Like to
Yeah.
connect with people that you would have
Mhm.
never, ever
Never
connected.
even talked to. Yeah. Yeah.
It's amazing. It is amazing. I love how this conversation went from intention setting to, really good energy just rippling out into the world. That's what I love about these conversations every month.
That's the beautiful thing about human beings. If we can tap into that, human beings are some wonderful people. But if they don't tap into that, the news tells you exactly what else we can be too. So
Right.
this is so important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's our intention with this whole Be the Spark movement is to find that connection, that commonality, because we are way more alike than we are different.
Yeah.
And we are way more heart centered and loving than we give ourselves credit for.
Yeah. I'm talking too much, but I have to make I'm reading this book. It's kind of a weird book, but the person said something in it that was so interesting. He said that um, negative, evil forces are very powerful. They're just very powerful, regardless of what you believe or don't believe. They're very powerful. But the one thing that evil forces, regardless of what they are all about, cannot destroy and cannot understand is love. Love is so powerful that no matter how evil things get, it cannot destroy it. It will never understand it. It can't figure it out. That's how powerful love is. So stuff like this to me, I'm looking at this. My intentions with this group is like, everybody push that love out and make that a ripple effect because it is very powerful. I think it's rare, but it's so powerful it can be rare and still have a ripple effect. And so, anyway, that book talked about that. I thought that was a
Yeah, the
really
ripple effect is that
yeah.
whole, and
Mm-hmm.
and even a group this size,
Mm-hmm.
we're creating an energy vortex right here.
Mm-hmm.
And after we hang up the call, we're still, that energy is going to be going out somewhere. And we don't
Exactly.
have to know where it's going.
Right.
So true.
Right.
I
And
saw there was a meditation I did recently, and somebody said that is we're sending the energy out
Mm-hmm.
and we don't have to know where, just allow that wherever that love is going out, that
Mm-hmm.
whoever needs it will catch it.
Exactly. Oh, I like that. That's so beautiful.
I like that.
True.
Something you said, Jeffrey, and welcome, Jimmy. I don't know if you can get your video on or not, but I forgot my it was something about the quote from the book.
No,
Any
that no matter how it doesn't understand or can destroy love, it
Yeah.
can't do it. It's impossible for it to do it. It's tried for eons and it cannot do it. That's how strong love is.
Yeah. I don't know what I was going to add to that. If I think of it, I'll
Okay.
share that with you guys. Jimmy. Jimmy always has trouble with his. We need to get him some Elon Musk.
Yeah, one of those strong satellites or something. Yeah.
one of the satellite dishes for him. He may not be able to pop back in here. So
Yeah.
I think Victoria knows, but Terry, you might know. Jimmy's from Uganda, and so his internet is not always in the best shape. So, but I wish I could remember what I was going to say.
Mm.
Anyway,
Yeah,
it
it'll
was
come to
something
you.
about love being powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually think that there is way more love in this world, and it gets squashed down by the media and the fear and the, all the stuff. And
Mm.
like, you know, um, Karen has been through a lot in her life, and she could have just let that squash her,
Mm-hmm.
right? And she's chosen to find the love in her heart and heal that. And I think that's such a beautiful thing. And I think that all of us have that ability to do that. And we just need that one person to be like, hey, I know you're worth it. And I love you and I'm here for you no matter what. So
Yeah. And we all have a story. And no matter how small we think our story is compared to somebody else's story, it's a story that somebody can benefit from. So there are no small stories. There are no insignificant stories. Every story is significant to you going through it and to somebody you may run across who is helped by your story, whether you share it or not. You know, your personality and your vibe displays your story. So there's no insignificant stories. Everybody has one. Everybody has something to share that will benefit somebody in their circle or not even their immediate circle.
I agree. I in my belief, I believe that we all go through whatever it is that we go through is because we're meant to, and it's to push us to be who we're meant to be.
Yeah.
So regardless if we see it as insignificant or not, as something huge, it is if we choose it to heal it, then it is pushing us to where we're meant to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always wanted things to be easy. Now I wouldn't trade people that had it easy, they can have that easy stuff. I wouldn't be the person I am if it was easy. So no, I don't need
Easy
to
leads
work
to a
on
whole nother mess, right?
it. That's a whole nother Zoom meeting.
Yep.
Well,
Well, wonderful. I thank you all for being here. It's been such a heart-filling conversation, as always.
Thank
And
you
our
so much, Gary. And I want to tell you, Penny does not come on to Zoom calls. She left and she came back. So
that's good.
she, she
She likes
only
us, huh?
she only shows up for Nicholas calls. So
Whoa,
you're right up there with that.
whoa. That's good.
I always have a thing for cats.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yay. Well, animals always tell us what we need to know, right? And they're attracted to good energy. So
Yep,
that tells
no
us
doubt about it. Yeah. Animals and children, they'll tell you a lot about, they feel the vibes.
they do.
They don't like you, something's wrong with you. Something's wrong with you if they don't like you. So,
All
yep.
Well, thank you guys. And I will see you the third Saturday of February, and I will send out information about that.
All right. So good talking to everybody. Thank you
Nice
all. I
meeting
get
all
so
of
much
you.
from all the,
Great
I
conversation.
get so much out of everything that you guys say, ladies say. It's
Yes.
so powerful. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Okay. Take care.